Welcome to Subramani. Please hit the bell icon, please subscribe. I'm going to make this video on how I think the financial services industry could change and how could it look after some time. And I'm going to be very careful saying, I'm not saying this is the way it will look, but I'm saying this is the tendency that it could take. For example, conventionally, individual investors have been told that you don't know how to deal with the market, so please go and put money in a mutual fund. Not too wrong. I see a lot of people losing money trading in the markets, but I think a new professional will evolve who will build portfolios for you without running a PMS. For example, I could just come and advise you as which share to buy, how much, how to create a portfolio weightage, etc. Saying which shares are for your retirement, which shares are for your children's education, which shares are for your vacation. So I could build a portfolio for you on a remote basis, or something like small cases, something like that could happen, and that professional could get billed separately, right, on a flat fee rather than on a percentage of AUM, right? So that could happen. Another thing which means the individual investor is not going to be just stuck to mutual funds, and it is not as though he will go away from mutual fund. Typically, if I were a young investor, say 32, 33, not 22, at 22 you don't have too much money, so largely it makes sense to do an SIP. But by the time you're 32, 33, you might start your own portfolio, you might create your own portfolio. So for that portfolio, you could seek help from a professional who will just come and construct on a flat fee basis, not on a percentage of AUM. Will this happen? I think it will happen. And what is actually keeping away young people from doing that, or not, is not having a proper regulator to say whether such a professional should exist. As of now, no such professional is recognized by SEBI. So there is that is one problem. But second thing is, investing in a pool, even in India, is what it's only about 30 years away maximum, right? 27-30 years away. And obviously at the start it was absolute cowboy kind of a thing. So then SEBI came, made rules, regulations, legislation, some useful, some totally useless. But with all that, the industry has evolved, and very importantly, the industry, the investors paid a price. But the next generation knows the kind of price which their parents made, the kind of foolish mistakes they made, kind of smart things that they did, right? And so with all that, hopefully some of that learning will pass on to the next generation, and the next generation will be more sensible in investing than the parents were. So that is one thing which will happen. Another thing is the perception that financial service industry professionals earn a lot of money. This is not totally true. The distributor does not earn as much money as the manufacturer, and that is fairly obvious in many industries, not so obvious in some other industries. So that will change. That distribution will go away from the advisor. So there will be an advisor who will charge a fee, could be a flat fee, could be a percentage of AUM or whatever, who will be able to advise you on everything, on taxation, on record keeping, on which mutual fund to invest and how to create wealth in the long run. So what mutual fund to invest will become a very small portion of it, right? It will become a commodity rather than a value add. There will be other things where this financial advisor will add value, and a lot of this may be possible that it is done using technology. One more thing which I keep feeling which will happen is the Amazonization of financial services, and I think it will be led by Jio BlackRock in India. Think of Jio creating a platform where fund managers can come and market their own portfolios. For example, I can go and say, here is my retirement portfolio. If you're 30 years of age, this is the portfolio that you should have. So what am I doing? Instead of trying to approach individual investors, I go and approach Jio BlackRock, and they create a platform for me, and they may manage my regulations, they manage my sales, they do my marketing, they do everything for me, and for that I pay them either a percentage. If I'm too small, I pay a percentage. If I'm very big, I may pay a flat fee, right? So can this happen? I think this will happen. Will Geo BlackRock do it? You never know. Somebody will do it, and that is bound to happen. So here will be a set of investors willing to learn, and a fund professional who is willing to show off how his portfolio looks. So somebody could come and invest there again on a flat fee basis, because that fund manager will never be able to know how much you are investing. He will not look after your investments. He will not look after the regulations. He will not give you the statement. He will not give you the daily NAV. He will not do anything of that sort. All that will be done by the platform. So will a fund manager need an AMC? Maybe no. And here the advantage is I can pick up one fund manager for my retirement, one fund manager for my other goals, or I might create a portfolio of ETFs, right? So that is another thing which could happen. If I create a portfolio of ETFs, I don't need fund managers. So these some of these things could also happen, right? Are professionals paid too much? That's a question which I have not yet answered. Are finance professionals paid too much? Yes, compared to medical or engineering or even tech professionals. Of course, some tech professionals earn much more than finance professionals, but even among finance professionals, there is a hierarchy, right? Like there is a caste system where some people get paid inordinately much more than what others get paid. Now, what something like a platform could do, what I call Amazonization, is to reduce the number of players and or to mechanize them, and then to democratize the process and therefore democratize the fees. Will this happen in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? I don't know. But if one individual is available, or one website is available which looks after my goals, it monitors my goals, it files my IT return, it keeps a record of my transactions, which means all I do is every month I just go and dump my bank statement there. It extracts all the information from my bank statement and says this is rent, this is petrol, this is personal expenses, this got invested, this SIP got done, this SIP did not get done. All that analysis and report is available to me. I don't see any reason why a platform should not give this to you, right? So therefore then I seek the services of a professional who will look after how my equity portfolio is doing. Right now it's not available. Either I go to a mutual fund or I seek a PMS. PMS is again a fee based activity. I don't want to pay a percentage based fees. I mean, why should I pay more for a 50 crore portfolio than what I was paying for a 10 crore portfolio? It makes no sense to pay 5x more. So I might want a professional for that services, and I may use that professional for on a flat fee basis, or even as a percentage. I will keep negotiating the percentage as the value keeps increasing. So that is the other possibility that could happen, right? So when all these happens, democratization happens, and therefore you will have lesser fees, lesser cost, maybe there will be more bankruptcies. Will all this mean there will be no bubbles? No, bubbles will happen. Will people get very good returns? I don't know, because people will get good returns in debt, people will get good returns in equity, and the gap between debt and equity will remain more or less same, right? That's not going to become too wide. So all these things will happen in the financial service industry. You will be there to benefit. You will have apps which tell you everything, the whole story. Filing of IT returns will become very simple, simply because you have to just upload all these statements which you have got from one particular place. You put in your salary PDF form 16 or whatever it's called, and or you allow it to access your 26AS, and suddenly your return will be filed by them, right? Will there be a human intervention? Yes, there will be a human intervention for older people, for some people who are not so tech savvy, but largely mechanization, computerization, whatever you want to call it, will drive down costs, and all these things will happen. There will be some kind of human intervention saying don't do this, do this, do you realize what you're doing, something like this, but that could also be AI driven. It need not be human driven, right? So some of my predictions, I do not know how much of it will come true, but I also need to tell you that if I look at my portfolio, I realize FMCG portfolio has done better than tech portfolio over maybe 20-30 years. So don't write off other industries. Don't think only technology will do well. There will be others also who will do well. Thank you.